Last year was a big year for gaming audio, and Hidizs really rocked the boat with the Maxwell, a planar magnetic driver headset that set a new standard for sound quality in a wireless gaming audio product, and it instantly became my daily driver. 2023 also saw the continued growth of IEMs in the consciousness of the average gamer. IEMs can be a great alternative to headsets and headphones for a number of reasons, although there aren't a ton of planar options available. So when Hidizs reached out and asked if I'd be interested in trying their new planar IEM, the MP145, the timing felt perfect. The Hidizs Maxwell is an incredible headset/headphone, and the prospect of getting a similar sound experience out of an IEM for gaming wasn't something I was totally convinced was possible. Turns out I was completely wrong. The MP145 manages to produce the same unique immersive sound as the Maxwell in the tiny form factor of an IEM. Now, as usual, I'm going to drop my disclaimer here that I am not an audiophile, I'm an enthusiast, and this review is going to mainly focus on the performance from a gaming point of view. I will talk about how they sound with music and other types of media, but yeah, my recommendation will be based on how well suited I think they are for gaming. Okay, the MP145 has big 14.5mm drivers. It comes with a 6N silver-plated single crystal copper wire cable, and I'm not going to pretend I know what any of that means, I'm just letting you know it comes with one. The cable comes with either a 3.5mm or 4.4mm plug, but obviously 3.5mm is what you're going to want for gaming. It also comes with a hard case to house the accessories, and sadly mine didn't quite make the trip from China in one piece. In the hard case is a reasonably fancy change purse style case to carry your IEMs, which took a little bit of use before it loosened up for me. You get a cute little twist top container for the additional filters too. It twists anti-clockwise and might be a little bit tight the first time you open it up, just FYI. This is a fat, heavy IEM, at least as far as IEMs are concerned. The design is a simple non-contoured shape which is made out of metal. I prefer this simple shape over the alternative, as I'm yet to find a contour design that fits me perfectly. Being a planar driver, size and weight are always going to be a factor, but I never found either to be an issue in regards to comfort. My tolerance for most earbuds and IEMs is about 90 minutes to 2 hours, and with these I can get at least a few hours before needing to take a break. Like I said, the MP145 is a thick boy, and they do stick out quite far from my ears, so they're not ideal if you're looking for something stealthy. Again, this never created an issue as far as comfort was concerned, and they never got in the way of my glasses, it's just something to be aware of. The cable it comes with is comfortable, lightweight and flexible. It has a neat little chin slider too. All the contact points are metal, and overall it has a premium feel. In the box you get 3 unique sets of tips, each with a small, medium and large size. Each type provides a slightly different sound, which I'll explain next, but beyond this I'd recommend trying all of them to find the best fit and seal. I would have liked the small size to have been a fraction smaller because they do slowly work their way out of my ears, especially while walking. So people with tiny elf ears might struggle with the tips that come in the box, and if you are a tiny elf person, you may need to look into some aftermarket tips. The MP145 has a balanced but warm bass-forward sound signature. It's tuned to the Harman 2019 curve, so hypothetically it should sound good to most people. The sound signature is a great fit for games because not only does it sound incredibly immersive, it has the necessary detail to hear important and often subtle sound cues. The treble might just be a tiny bit bright for my liking when listening to music, which oddly appears to be the opposite opinion of all the other reviews I've checked out. This never resulted in any fatiguing after prolonged use though. By the way, I only check out other reviews after finalising my thoughts, so as not to be swayed by other, more professional opinions. Imaging is excellent. The last IEM I reviewed was the EM6L, which also has great imaging, and I'd say that the MP145 is on par in this area, although it sounds more cohesive. In other words, it has a more natural sound, which makes them better suited to music than the EM6L. Soundstage, or how surround soundy something is, isn't normally something IEMs and specifically planar drivers do well, but I had a moment while listening to a Fuji's track where there's a siren in the background, and I legitimately thought the popo were coming up my street, and I turned my head to look out the window. So yeah, it's pretty good. Imaging is equally impressive while gaming. Individual sound effects are easy to identify, and epic moments land with both impact and clarity. As you'd expect from a planar, the low end delivers in spades. It never drowns out the other frequencies though, so in action games you still get a good separation of the lows, mids and highs, letting you hear everything you need to. For music, they sound great for everything. The first time I fired up A Thief's End from the Uncharted 4 soundtrack, I actually got goosebumps. Because of how much the low end kicks, they're particularly good for bass heavy tracks like house music, and I thought they were especially awesome for early Chili Peppers stuff. It should come as no surprise then, given how immersive they are, that they're excellent for watching movies. Once again, the detail and clarity means that you can watch a loud action film and not feel drained by the end of it. Now, as I mentioned earlier, it comes with 3 different tip sets that change how they sound: a bass set, a balance set, and a voice set. They also come with 3 different sound tuning filters. Again, one for bass, one for balance, and one for voice. These are basically dampers that you screw on the end of the nozzle. Changing the tips doesn't seem to make a massive difference, at least to my ears. You can definitely tell them apart, like the bass tips are a fraction more punchy and the voice tips are a fraction brighter. It's just not a night and day situation, and I reckon the average gamer might struggle to hear much difference at all. The filters are similar in that they make a minor difference to the overall sound. Now you can mix and match the tips and filters to your heart's content, but you'll probably end up landing on a combination that you like and sticking with it. The reason for this is that changing the tips is kind of fiddly. I find that getting the tips over the filters can be a real struggle, so it's unlikely that you'll be swapping tips on a regular basis. This is definitely an audiophile product in regards to setup, but don't be put off if that's not you. While it's worth playing around with the tips and filters to find what sounds best, you don't need to. They just give you a bit more freedom with the customization, and they're a nice little add-on for audio nerds who like to tinker. I think the Hidizs MP145 is incredible for gaming. My go-to headset for the past few months has been the Hidizs Maxwell, and now I have a new go-to IEM that delivers a similar audio experience. At $200 US or $300 Australian, this is a product aimed at people looking for not just good technical performance for games, but something that sounds fantastic too. It's definitely tailored more for people playing story-focused and cinematic games, because the soundstage and warmth results in an immersive experience that few other IEMs can match. You can definitely still use them for competitive games, and their performance here is very impressive, but if that's your sole focus, there are other cheaper IEMs like the EM6L that will pick up essential audio cues just as well. If you want something that covers gaming and music though, and does an exceptional job at both, this is an amazing IEM.